What's up, y'all? This is Be Better Than Your BS with Risha Grant, the people's champ. No fluff, no filters, just real women with real receipts. Talking leadership, life, pressure, purpose, and what it really costs to show up fully. Whether you're climbing the corporate ladder or building something of your own, if you've ever felt too much for some rooms and not enough for others, pull up a chair. These conversations are for you. This is the Zerlo Network, powered by people who make it possible. Life and business are about more than titles and wins. They're about how you show up and the culture you create around you. Sports taught me that early: discipline, teamwork, and knowing how to pivot under pressure. And that's why I do this show. I'm Risha Grant, the people's champ, and I am here to bring you real conversations with leaders, change makers, and everyday people who are shaping culture in powerful ways. From Dubai to Dallas, today's guest has been building impact across borders. She's a strategist, investor, and a change maker whose work proves that profit and purpose can coexist beautifully. As president and CEO of Indus Synergy Partners, Kaanti Suresh Shetty is creating bridges between India and the U.S., empowering women and leading community-driven development that uplifts both economies and hearts. But her story isn't just about business. It's about belief in yourself, your purpose, and the power of creating something bigger than you. Today, we're talking about how she built a global mindset, broke through barriers, and stayed grounded in compassion while driving success on a worldwide scale. This is Be Better Than Your BS. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Risha, for having me here. It's truly a pleasure.
Yes, I'm ready to get into it. So, as you know, before we jump in, I start every conversation right here because, let's be real, we all have BS. So what was the BS that you had to break through to get to where you are today?
Clarity. Clarity is the key to me. There were several ideas, several thoughts, and I wanted to be a go-getter, be confident, and make it big in the world. Because my childhood had a few challenges, and they were in our country. When it's a female child that's born, especially in my town, they would say, "Oh, it's a girl. What will she achieve?" But my father said, "This girl is going to make us proud one day." And I grew with that the bit of hatred that came from the women of the family.
Yes.
But I then grew up to be like more of a boyish character, run all the elections and be in every sport. That teaches you confidence,
right.
Belief. And then what I want to be, where do I want to go? And I believe that song, Que sera, sera, whatever
Yes.
will be, will be.
Yes.
And that also, it brings about a statement there as one word, that's clarity.
Yeah.
It evolved as time passed, it evolved, and I got better clarity, worked through it, worked through the flaws, and my belief system, I would say, is clarity and the right mindset.
And I love clarity because so many times we jump into things without having the clear understanding of why we're doing it, what we're doing it for, and who it's going to impact.
Absolutely. So. I totally agree with that. And you rightly said, who is it going to impact with your decisions that you take? And it's not that I have not been through it. I have had, weird ideas and thoughts, and I've tried, invested money, executed. It has impacted a few people's lives and jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm very, mindful of what I do next.
Right.
So every phase of your life is a lesson that you learn. And the lesson that you learn is your decisions should not, hurt or tamper with their dreams as well, because they have dreams too. Sometimes they believe in you. They have faith in you.
Yeah.
So to me, it's about faith, it's about resilience, it's about how you impact people's lives and, how you make them smile is up to you. And you're an instrument that God has sent, so make the best use of it.
Right. And you said something that I find so interesting that I want to dive into a little bit. You said in my country, being a woman wasn't necessarily a good thing, and you grew up around the hate. How do you get your mindset to think, and I know you had your dad who sounds amazing, but even with that, how do you get your mindset to think something different when you are born into something that says that you aren't enough?
Right. That was a very good question. I'm sure you'd have heard stories that in the 1900s or earlier, in those days that women are considered to be as non-revenue generators.
Yeah.
But they would have them aborted, sometimes without the permission of the woman who's conceived, or after the child is born. So the only reason that they feel was, a woman is vulnerable. She is exposed to risks, risks of being, into the treacherous hands of the men sometimes,
Right.
who are very demanding, who can be abusive. And there are a lot of, domestic abuse stories that you hear from, the several parts of India or
Right.
Asia as such, and then even Africa for that matter. Said that when I grew up with, when I heard stories of saying that I wasn't accepted when I was born, and it took a while for the female members of my family to accept me. And so I grew up with that, right from
Right.
3 to 5. And fortunately, I was good with my academics. Being on a petite side, sports was a challenge, but then I could be an athlete.
Yeah.
I was a state level hockey player.
Oh, cool.
Yes, I was. But then that also, I said, okay, fine. I had a boycott. And then I did all the elections, and I became the president of the college that I was studying with. So the stuff that I would do was more male oriented. So they would call me a tomboy.
Yes, yes, yes.
But my goal, unfortunately, I lost my dad when I was 6 years old in an accident. So that gave me even more strength to make his dreams come true, that what he expected for me to be. He said, never quit. Be it homework or be it anything, never quit. When you start something, you quit when you finish the work and when you feel proud that you have made that difference. So that one statement of what he told me when I was 5 years old, I still carry it with me even today.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And this show has a sports theme to it. So
Right.
when you said hockey, I'm like, now how did sports play into your foundation for you?
Right. Back in those days when when I would study in college, they would say you would get a federal job or a central government job back in India if you go via the sports quota.
Okay.
So and I always saw sports as where you get a lot of limelight.
Yeah.
And I like to be in the midst of people. I'm more of a people person. I can have a conversation anywhere you go. So so that's why I took up hockey, because I tried basketball, volleyball, and I didn't fit the court because of my height. And then, so I took up hockey. It wasn't easy. It was very tiring. And it was not that I got the prime position. I was a substitute.
Okay.
Yeah. So there was a chance when we had intercollegiate matches that I had an opportunity to actually dribble that ball to the goal post. And then there was this girl who was, very tough from the other college, who came and said, hey, B, just leave the ball. And that triggered the boyish character in me. And I said, here you go. Dribble, 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 goal. And then that was when...
So you scored on her?
Yes,
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
And then at that moment, I said, even a substitute or a janitor can make the difference to your team. And I learned the lesson that one day is, do not underestimate anything, anybody, or any idea. Execute it, try it, have clarity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it, y'all.
Yes.
You cannot call this woman out her name or she's going to score on you. Take that away. So was there ever a moment that you doubted yourself?
Oh, there were many times.
And how did you push past that?
Yes, but also let me tell you, Risha, doubt is not a negative, thought or character or attribute per se. When you start doubting, what I would do when I doubt is I have a notepad, I scribble down, I draw a roadmap, a mind map, and then I have a roadmap. And then in that roadmap, I have different branches. So where is my doubt actually coming from? Then branches on that. What can I do to clear those doubts? what are the resources that are available that I can reach out to? Who can help me with? And then if I achieve that and work on that doubt, how many of them can be impacted? How many of them can have, value-driven purpose that I can include them with?
Right. So you figure out, where is this doubt coming from?
Absolutely.
So that I can eliminate it, or come
Right.
up with a plan to eliminate the reason for the doubt. Because typically, if we spend the time thinking about it,
Right.
we can pinpoint why we're feeling like
Yes.
this is not
Yes.
going to work, or
Yes.
something to that degree.
So
Okay.
I would like to give this piece of advice that
Okay.
doubt is good,
Okay.
because then you're thinking of yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, because you don't hear that doubt is good. It's always seen as
No,
negative.
no,
But
it
that
is
is a
not.
reframe. So I love that.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So what mindset, and I think we've already kind of gotten into this, but carries you from Dubai to Dallas? Because I can only imagine, how different. I went to Dubai in 2023 and absolutely loved it. It was hot. I told you that one time. If I had one complaint, I was like, it is super hot. But what mindset, because I can only imagine the culture, the difference in cultures is pretty big.
It is indeed. Dubai, per se, when I was there in 1995, was only sand and then a few buildings here and there.
Okay.
I would love to highlight the vision of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum is dream big, dream bold, dream as big as you want, because sky is not the limit. He has transformed that sand dunes into the biggest, the boldest, the widest, the largest of everything in Dubai.
Yes.
Dubai is a destination place where everyone wants to be there, because it's the epitome of luxury is what
Yes.
people see. So I've seen Dubai transforming, and fortunately I was honored to be on the committee along with the vision of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum,
Okay.
to be a senior assessor with him in his vision called Excellence of Dubai. So in that mode, I've learned several attributes of what takes you, to be big, to dream big.
I want to get into that, but this is why I love this part of the conversation, because it's the real behind the resume, right? But now that we know where your mindset came from, let's talk about what you did with it, so we can get in. And I want to talk about dune buggy and also. So let's get into the play, the major moves and the risks that made the vision real. Want more of what you're watching? Watch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, or listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio, to name a few. You're just joining in. I am here with global business strategist Kaanti Suresh Shetty, and she is about to tell all about the major moves she made in business and in life. Now, you've clearly made some bold moves, and what I love is that every one of them has purpose behind it. But success isn't just about the wins. It's also about what we learn and how we help others rise. And so I always say that personal culture is the vibe that you have when you bring in the room, and the impact that you leave behind. And it's the mix of how you see yourself and then how others experience you. So who did you have to become from a personal culture standpoint to get where you are today?
Right. From being that humble Kaanti, there were times that, because I grew up in the Indian Hindu culture, Hindu tradition, where women do not raise their voice versus the men. Women wouldn't smile, they wouldn't show their teeth when there are people around. So that's the environment that we come from. Well, the bold move was I did smile, I did show my teeth, and I was bold with my words. I was very loud with my voice. I was very vocal, because they said, oh, women wouldn't achieve much as what men would do. This is a man's world. I respect that. But then women can also achieve what men can do within that thin line that they draw between the man and the women, which is respect, learn, and empathy. So one of the bold moves was they said, oh, Kaanti, you wouldn't achieve much. Your height, I did achieve with my academics. I was a rank holder. Finally, I became a cost accountant. Then the opportunities in India weren't as good enough or alluring as much as the overseas would offer.
Right.
And then, but my household would not allow me to go and work outside, because it's not a thing that the women in our household would go and work. It's the men who earn, and the women would cook and serve them.
Right.
So I ran away from home.
Wow. Now that is the risk of all time.
Yeah, and I was just 21. I just took a suitcase, ran away from home, stayed as a paying guest in one of my friend's house. We moved to New Delhi and off to Dubai.
Wow.
They didn't know where I was for about 5 years, but there was an interview of mine that was published, and I was the retail manager of a brand called Nine West, and that's how they got to know where I am.
Okay. I remember Nine West.
Yes.
Used to shop there, yes.
Yes. So that's one of the boldest moves I've taken to be where I am. And success does not come with, the comforting words. As, grass on the other side of the fence always looks green. And saying that working overseas was not that easy because of the culture differences.
Right.
Dubai at that point of time was very strict with this culture, with the way we dress, with how women are being treated there. There was a lot of a mind shift that one had to, adapt to that city.
Right.
Yes. But then my job also required moving on with promotions, travel around the world, adapt different cultures. So success comes with a lot of resilience, patience, grace, and grit.
Yeah. And I would say that Dubai still is pretty strict about what women can wear, because when we went over in 23, there was a lot about what we should wear, what was appropriate, what was inappropriate.
Right.
Now, when you ran away and your family found you, were they accepting? Were they proud of what you had become?
Not the men.
Right.
But the women were really proud that, you're the first woman or the girl of this family, the legacy that has broken barriers.
I love it, because that's what it's about, breaking barriers. But the courage that it took, I commend you for the courage that it took to do something like that.
The attributes that in your head is clarity, you know you have to do it, focus. So once you're in the fire, you have to be a go-getter. There's no looking back. Yeah. So you have to pursue your dreams, and to pursue your dreams takes a lot of hurdles that when you have faith in God, and He's the only one that will hold your hand, when you stick with it, I believe it will be manifested.
Well, I just can't imagine the level of fear of leaving behind everything that you've known, and then going out there and, I mean, doing this global work that you're doing. So, I mean, that is amazing. Yes. So tell us, what inspired you to create Indus Synergy Partners and bridge the business between India and the U.S.?
Risha, this is such a very powerful question, and it's very close to my heart. I can write a book on that.
And you should.
but one of the factors that inspired me to start Indus Synergy Partners, kudos goes to my brother as well, who's back in India. He's a senior attorney, and he also serves the Federal Court of India. So, culture, India, Dubai, United States, there are several Indians living in the United States. Right. Philanthropy is a part of my life. It's not because I want the name or, whatever. Said that I see that several Indian students, because I studied in UTA, I pursued my majors in real estate and finance with UT Arlington. There were several Indian students. So they had issues with visas. Some parents, or senior citizens would travel down to US to live with their children. Some of them were domestically abused. Some of the wives who got married would come and join their husbands, but some of the husbands would abandon them. Where do they go? So there are several agencies where Indian communities, and the consulate office in Houston also helps, Indian citizens. But how much can they do? Right. So I would for example, this is very disturbing. One of the Indian student working in a gas station was shot. Boom. He had a 9-month-old child and a 21-year-old wife back in India. Okay. They depended on him for, financial stability. Said that they didn't know what to do. The body was lying in the morgue for about, 3-4 days. With my resources and contacts, I, got in touch with the right resources, got the detective working on that, helping them, connecting with the, family. Right. We found what has to be done. The body was then transported to India. The rituals were done. They got the certificates. But then I was doing it as, a volunteer. said that they were very wealthy people as well, that I would volunteer to do it.
Yeah.
But then what I realized here was, now this has to come from, the wealthy people, pay, and then a percentage of that would go to those people who need the funds or who need real help, so I can be that contact.
Okay.
When I say so my brother's on the legal side, so he can help there, he can use his expertise, and I can use my contacts to help them. And then it's not only on that side, where we also take businesses from not only India but other parts of the world, and have America and America's business to to India or other parts of the world. What a beautiful collaboration that is, isn't it?
Yes, for sure. So you are helping people build their businesses here, there, wherever.
Yes,
wherever
with passion.
they want to be. Okay.
And pride.
Okay.
Yes.
I love that you said that. Now, your Dallas commercial development is rooted in community. So why was that project so personal for you?
Right. Like I said, we all speak about women empowerment, don't we? Women empowerment, women empowerment, women empowerment. Yeah. What are we doing about it?
Yeah.
There was this piece of land that my husband gifted it to me for my birthday. So he said, what do you want to do out of it?
That is a hell of a gift. That is a great gift. I'm sorry. I'm like, that is, your husband knows how to give gifts.
I'm blessed. Let me say I'm blessed.
Yes.
But then, why don't I share that blessing, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful, because when you share blessings, blessings multiply. When you bring a smile on if I had to bring a smile on your face, then I would have many people smiling at me with, respect and expectations of, I could make a difference to their lives. Right. Having said that, the shopping center. The business person in my husband said, oh, let's start a hotel, let's start a condominiums or, single family homes. And I was like, no. Then I said, why don't we start something that can help single women, start their businesses. They have no place to start their businesses because the rents are higher. So let's give them an opportunity. So I spoke with the councilwoman, the commissioner at that point of time for District 8, and she was very, very instrumental in helping me pursue that dream. The mayor pro tem at that point of time, Mr. Atkins, was very, very proud when I explained to him that this is my vision to help single women, have a piece of space in that shopping center that I'm coming up with, so they can build their dreams. Yes. They can believe in what the dreams will manifest.
Somewhat of an incubator program?
It is not a program. So, there's a shopping center. Okay. For example, they are florists, or they are nail artists, or they are, a daycare. Okay. That community needs a clinic. So why don't I encourage women entrepreneurs to be there, who really need that space, and I don't charge them that high lease amount, and can be nominal, but then they can make their living, they can take care of their parents or children. And then also, in addition to that, I also plan to start financial literacy programs and collaborate with other agencies to work with me on that program to make that community a better place to live in.
Okay, this is great. This is great. We are going to be right back. So you've clearly made the bold moves, and what I love is that every one of them was about purpose.
It is.
That is so important. You've clearly made some bold moves, and what I love is that every one of them has to do with purpose. So now let's take it to the post game. This is where we're going to reflect, slow it down a little bit, and really provide some practical tips for people, women, who want to go into business and be entrepreneurs.
Sure. Yes.
We'll be right back. Want more of what you're watching? Watch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, or listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio, to name a few. Welcome back to Be Better Than Your BS. We've talked about the beginnings and the big plays, so now it's time to take it to the post game. Again, this is where we slow it down, reflect, and share the real playbook for anyone out there trying to make their mark. So after all the milestones and accolades, how do you personally define success today?
Success is, again, all about patience.
Patience, okay.
Patience, yeah. And the second is, I would stress every time I speak, is clarity. When you have the clear picture in your mind what I want to be, then you have a plan. When you have a plan, then you have focus. When you have focus, then you have execution. So you have a mind map and a road map, and then how you execute it, how best you use your resources. And the key is communication. How clear are you with your communications and what you speak, what you want, what you ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. When babies cry, they get their milk.
Yes.
Yes, so that's where you have to be loud, you have to be vocal, but you have to stand positive. And every statement you make, where I try always is, never make a statement which I say, oh, I cannot do it. But I would say, I can make it happen. However, I would need X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
It can be a twist of words, but I believe in manifesting. So the more positive you stand with your statements, the more manifestation will work in your favor.
But Kaanti, let's go back to patience. What do you say success is about patience?
Patience, like I said, is a big context that we can discuss on. But however, if I had to make a long explanation, a shorter version, patience is how you learn to observe than speaking. In a boardroom, the intelligent person would listen to everybody who speaks in that boardroom. Everybody would talk, 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 talk. He would listen, and then he would take that decision with the excerpts where he gathers from what everybody said. Some of them would be 100% not worth it, some of them would be 90% worth it, but then he has his points. So he wasn't pouring in a lot of energy, but his patience are to listen to them, to observe them. And he's done his due diligence, for example. All are the attributes that comes to the equation of patience.
Well, see, and when I think about patience with success, I love your version of it, because for me, it's like you almost don't have a choice. Like you want to hurry this thing up, and you're doing all that you can do, but it happens when it's supposed to happen. And me really figuring out that all the things that I had done up until that time got me ready for that space that I was supposed to be in. And I didn't really handle the patience part of it well, because of course it's like, well, I've got to get this done because this affects my finances, which affects how I take care of myself and anybody else that is dependent on me.
Yes.
So it seems like patience when it comes to entrepreneurship is forced, but you're saying no, it may be, but at the same time, if you're patient,
right,
you're better.
I would say, don't be so patient that you get cold.
Yeah.
But you have to be your due diligence.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say patience, have resilience, have grace, have grit. Sometimes patience is also to deal with the temperament of different people. Sometimes you have people banging your desk. You don't have to react, because when you react, then it becomes worse.
Yes.
Patience is when you have people standing against you. You don't have to jump into that puddle,
right?
Because they say when you throw a stone in the pond, there will be ripples.
Right.
So to deal with those ripples, it would take time and energy. So why do you have to waste your time and energy in dealing with what is not required, and deal with what is required? So invest your energy in what is needed to be done.
Yeah.
So that also, patience goes to focus, focus goes to execution, execution goes to
I love
the result.
You have your, like, it is
right.
you have
and
your steps.
No, I wouldn't say that I was born, patience and all the grace of it. I was a go-getter.
Yeah.
I had no patience, but then the wounds that I, the time it took to heal the wounds without patience that I've done things on, it takes a while.
Yeah.
And sometimes it lives with you,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
most times, I think all
so
the time.
there's a saying, once bitten, twice shy. So it's best to have patience with due diligence, and you have the strategy that you work towards to. Success is the key.
Gotcha.
And sustaining that success is another story.
Okay. So you said that empowered women empower economies. What does that look like in real action?
See, for me, empowering women is not charity. Many of them take it as, oh, I have donated so and so and so.
Yes.
How much have you been there to hear their story? So time is wealth and time is money. So that is real charity, I would say. So when you sit with that XYZ, or say woman for that matter, she has an X issue, do you have the patience to really listen to her, or you're still looking at your watch or scrolling and then, keep talking, I'm just going to throw you this check? What that woman at that point of time would need is, your eye contact, your validation that you're there for her,
Right.
and that hope that she's come with, spending her time hoping that you would come up with a solution. And the solution that I may have is not only wealth, it's not about donation, it's not about funds, it's also the resources that I can connect her to make her issue resolved.
Right.
And then there's a permanent solution to the problem she has. For example, a single mother, she may not have a job, and she needs to take care of her parents, her children. It's just not you throw a $1,000 donation on her. Help her get a job.
Right.
I have the resources, and those resources I do it with my networking. God bless. So I believe strongly that I am the channel and I am the instrument that God has sent me to this world with a purpose to serve.
Yeah.
And that service has no value.
Yes.
Yes. To me, that is, okay, now when this woman gets empowered, she's working, she's escalating the economy by contributing to the growth of the economy. Let's say that.
Yeah, for sure.
So women is power.
Yes. Yeah.
Truly.
And I love the explanation for that. So if there's anyone dreaming of entrepreneurship, and many are, what's that first real step look like?
I would still emphasize clarity. Yes. You have several ideas. My sister always keeps saying, many of them come with ideas. She's an investor. So people come with, the big, I have this dream. Fine. But do you have the resources? Money is not everything. Do you have the resources to get it done? Do you have the context to get it done? I would encourage women to join agencies. There are several women empowerment groups, grants that they would also get.
Right.
Many of them don't even know that the cities or the state give you grants. So that's where I am looking at having programs to educate women or men maybe, that there are several agencies that gives you grant, financial literacy.
Right.
So if you want to start a business of your own, do your homework.
Yes. And come with that clear plan, because if you're
Yes.
talking to an investor, they want to understand what is this product or service, and
Right.
how are we going to win with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you may not even need an investor because the city can help you, the state
Yes.
can help you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about how well you execute those ideas. Because when you have a clear picture in front of you, then it's easy to the road to success.
So let's talk for a second about international business for people that are interested in that, because I've always thought it was just such a great concept, but it also seemed very hard to do, right? International business. If I wanted to start one, what would my step be there? My first step.
When you look at exploring international businesses, my first advice would be understand the culture of that country. The do's and don'ts. For example, my sister was planning to launch her skin product in Japan. However, they wanted her to redesign the logo in the Japanese language.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So she did her due diligence.
Yeah.
So she did not go and invest first and then once bitten twice shy. So that's where when I would encourage every person who wants to pursue international business to do their due diligence. The do's and don'ts of the government rules, the compliances. They have state compliance, they have federal compliances.
Right.
And what it takes to do the tax payments that needs to be done, trademarks, IP, the IP things that needs to be done as well.
Right.
Several things. So also contact an attorney, and that's where Indus Synergy Partners serving. Yeah.
And Indus can handle that.
Yes.
So what is one failure or tough moment that ended up being the best teacher in your journey?
One of them was trust.
Okay. In
Yeah.
what way?
Trust. I'm a very emotional person. I try to show myself as one of the tough cookie, but I'm like a coconut. Soft from the inside, but very my features are very tough looking. Said that there was a company that I went out with. They were veterans, so my thought in my head was, oh, they're veterans. They've served the country. They will never cheat. So out of emotion, I got this collaboration between India and United States, the businesses, and I was like, oh, this is in my city, so the first company to go to India and bring Indian businesses here, and I'm doing this and that, and they're veterans. Did everything. I did a lot of investment too. Yeah. Finally, the person, did not go as per, the rules and the code of conduct of conducting businesses. I had to have my attorney at that point of time, and my husband had to come, step in, and then, it was a traumatic moment. So I realized, what happened to my trust? So, a mix of emotion and trust is sometimes can, it can, spoil the business conducts.
Right.
So in the best interest of both the parties, I would say do your due diligence. In business,
Right.
integrated trust is required, but yes, due diligence is a must.
Yes, I think it is in any business. You
Yes,
have
ma'am.
you have to figure that stuff out,
Yes,
because it will come back to
absolutely.
bite you in some way.
Yes.
And finally, how do you stay better than your BS as you continue growing, leading, and giving back?
Yeah. I see every day as a evolvement of myself, my personality. Every day I sit down before I start my day. I look at healing myself, forgiving, let go. It's not that I don't have any anger or temper issues, but I have vengeance. There are bad qualities
Yeah.
as well. Let
We
me be
all do,
candid.
yes.
Yes. But what I think when I wake up is, gratitude.
Yeah.
God has still given me those five senses.
Right.
So why don't I make the best use of it? What difference can I make to make at least one person smile and make a
Right.
difference in their life?
Got it.
And make that impact, yes.
I love that. And you've given us the strategy, the mindset, and the mission. And what stands out is that everything you do, from business to community, again,
Yes.
it's really about purpose for you.
Yes.
And
yes,
so
yes.
I think you can actually create the life you want
It
by
is,
being
indeed.
purposeful
Yes, it
and,
is.
and helping others. So
Yes.
we will
Risha,
be right.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I would want to add, there is an exercise in yoga, to get all that negativity out of your system, that hatred, that revenge, all of that. In India, we have an exercise, especially the older people, they, get in a park, they get together, and then they laugh out loud. They really laugh out loud.
I saw that on one of my favorite reality shows just last week.
Yes. They laugh
saw
out loud.
that.
Yeah. So, the hormones and
Yes,
your
and they were in
gets
India.
escalated, and then you walk out with pride.
They had an American woman on there just laughing for no reason, and she's like, "Why am I doing this?" So I just saw that. We will be right back with the lightning round. Want more of what you're watching? Watch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, or listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio, to name a few. So, here we go. Quick fire. Want to get to know you a little bit better?
I'm ready.
All right. One word that describes your leadership style.
People driven.
People driven. I like that. Coffee, chai, tea, something stronger.
Coffee in the morning and chai, the Indian masala chai in the afternoons.
I love chai so much. What is your go-to mantra when things get hard?
Faith over fear. That's it.
What book changed the way you think about business or life?
There are two books rather. The Alchemist, which also teaches you that gratitude is very important. And then the Law of the Universe, Manifestation.
The Law of the Universe.
Yes.
Okay. What is your superpower in business?
I think it's Rhonda Brown, sorry.
I'll say that again?
Dr. Rhonda Brown.
Okay.
I think it
Dr.
was her.
Rhonda Brown.
Yeah.
Okay. Your superpower. What's your superpower in business?
Superpower in business is be proud of yourself, and dignity, pride is what I would say.
Is there one thing that you do every day to center yourself?
When I feel lost, I sit there and I thank God. Thank God for that moment that I'm still alive, the wisdom that I still have, and then I can do better. It takes me about half an hour to half a day to get back, but gratitude is what takes me to my another level.
So just being able to sit with it.
Yes. Yes. Practice gratitude. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Because when you do, you really realize how great you have it, and especially when you can look at what other people may be
Risha,
experiencing and going through.
most of us, we underestimate the power of blessings. And we do not realize how blessed we are, but we go on those negatives than the positives.
I was thinking about this, and I said, honestly, I think this has been one of the worst years of my life. But when I'm in meditation and I'm in prayer, I sit there and I spend time being thankful for all the things. And you're right, it really does help you feel better from the perspective that it's like, wow, but I'm still doing this. I have this, I have this, I have this. And, you know, or you talk to somebody else and you realize that I'm not there. And it's definitely something to be thankful for.
Risha, if I may add, you know, God sends everyone for a reason. We meet for a reason. It could be a season. It can last for a lifetime. Why would God script our meeting? Okay, so when we get together, we can make a difference.
Right.
So we are His, you know, children.
Yeah.
Everyone is a special child of God, and He has a reason. He knows it better. If you're going through this time at this moment, there must be a learning lesson and something big that He has for you. He might take the cycle, the bicycle that you have, to give you a BMW, but there's a process.
Process is something else. Process is something else. Who inspires you the most right now?
My son, Sai.
And why is that?
He makes me believe that the purpose of our lives is the real luxury.
Okay.
It means more than, you know, money. It means more than, you know, the material wealth that you have, but it's purpose driven.
Okay. What's your favorite city that you worked in and why?
It would not be right if I say, you know, is Dallas, but it's India, is Dubai, and it's Dallas Fort Worth. Because every city has taught me something. India has taught me grace. Dubai has taught me to dream big. And the United States has taught me to speak loud.
Speak loud.
Yes.
It sounds like that was something that was already in you, though. You just got to a place where you could let it go.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. If you weren't in business, what would you be doing?
My son and I would have an animal sanctuary. So we would be taking care of the abandoned animals instead of having to put them down. And at night, I would be mentoring youngsters if they had the patience to, you know, stay with me.
I love that, and I'm so not an animal person, and my partner is and wants to have, I believe, a farm for disabled animals.
Yes.
That's
yes.
Because it's always like, can we get this dog that can't hear, this goat that can't see, this, you know, like, no. No, we cannot.
Yeah, but they have lives too, you know.
Yes, they do, and I don't think my calling or my blessing is to get a dog a wheelchair.
It's a side service.
Yes, that she will have to do on her own.
Okay. But there are agencies that can help.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have her talk to you about that. What's one cultural lesson from India that influences how you lead today?
Grace and resilience, because in India, if you see, there's a lot of attention that's given to, you know, service. Service is the key.
Yes.
You know, being polite is what, you know, you believe in. But now trends have changed, so, you know, when you're polite, you also have to stand by what you have to achieve.
Yes.
So India has taught me grace, resilience, grit, and a sense of achievement.
Okay, so what's one thing from the U.S. that complements what you learned in India?
Like I said, you know, United States, and especially the cities that I've lived in, Arlington, Grand Prairie, Dallas, Irving. I studied in Arlington, UT Arlington. So I was shy. I was very conscious of my accent because, you know, one of them came and told me, oh, the Indians, you know, if they had to say yes, they would say yes, and they would say no, and then they keep nodding and shaking their head.
Yeah.
So I am, you know, in that way, I'm very particular of what people tell me, then it works in my head. So long story short, my friend told me, you know, you have to be vocal and not care.
Yeah.
But US is a place, you know, it's for the people who are go-getters. They reward them. They are there to hear you out. They do not entertain people who sit in the comfort zone and want to say, yeah, I can get it done.
Right.
So my city is Dallas, Arlington, or Grand Prairie has given me to the person I am today. I'm grateful.
Okay. Okay. So fill in this blank. Empowered women.
Wow. You know, I always tell women, when you walk into a room with pride, like your ancestors have, you know, they own that room.
Exactly.
Yeah. You make the rules, have patience, listen to them, but at the end of the day, you can write the rule book, or you can change the rule book.
Yes. And I think that women are responsible for so many amazing changes.
They are.
Not just in their lives, but in the world.
Yes, indeed.
And so,
yes, indeed.
I think that we got to be recognized more for that. So.
Absolutely.
What's one piece of advice you'd give to a woman who doubts herself?
I said faith over fear. Doubting is good because then you will start working on how do I get out of it. But if you don't work on that, then you will not get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
So if you are, a doer, doubt, it's good. Work on where your doubts are. Have a mind map, have a road map, and you will definitely have a solution.
Explain mind map. Explain that for somebody who has no idea what a mind map is.
Okay, when you say, I have an idea, I want to open a restaurant. Let's say I want to start a podcast, so which is for real. So it's very weird. I kept doubting myself. I won't be able to do it. And then I had my son. I asked him, how can I do it? How can I do it? So he said, Mom, all you need is a studio. You need the cameras, you need the XYZ. I said, how much of investment? XYZ. Okay, so what I did was around a mind map.
Right.
I said, podcast. Then I had a few arrows around it. To achieve what I want to be, I need a list of speakers, influencers who can make an impact. So I have the guest list with me. I have the dynamics. I have the investments. And then I have the place. So I have to lock in all of this. When I see the mind map on my vision board every day, so I know how to work further.
Gotcha. Okay. It's kind of like your own personal plan here
Yes,
of how you're going to
I think it's a
accomplish your
vision
thing.
board.
Okay, got it. How do you celebrate your wins, big or small?
Gratitude. Every day. Every day is a win for me because I wake up alive.
That is true.
It is true. Indeed.
The older I get, I think about my grandmother saying, how blessed she felt to wake up in the morning, because when you're younger, you're like, what's the big deal? You woke up in the morning, but as you get older, everybody does not.
Absolutely. And I always tell people every day is a birthday because you're waking up alive. Celebrate it.
Yes.
When you celebrate gratitude, you're celebrating yourself, and that's a win by itself.
Okay. Your last question here. What's your definition of being better than your BS?
I said evolve every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Kaanti, tell us, where can we find out more about you and your business?
LinkedIn is the best way, and our website. LinkedIn is Kaanti Suresh Shetty, and our website is indusynergypartners.org, and that's the best way to connect with me.
Okay. From corporate boardrooms to community front lines, Kaanti Suresh Shetty is proof that you can build empires and uplift people at the same time. Her story reminds us that leadership isn't about power. Again, it's about purpose. And if you take one thing from today, let it be this. Impact isn't something you wait for, it's something you build, one intentional choice at a time. Kaanti, thank you for showing us what it looks like to be better than your BS, and for proving that when women lead with heart, whole economies rise.
True.
Until next time, keep doing the work, y'all. Keep breaking down the BS, and remember, better people create better cultures. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Here.
Thank you for having me.
Be better than your BS. Got a mirror in the mind, reflecting the test. What's the truth in your soul? What's the lie you suppress? Peel the layers back, onion of success. Gotta shed that old skin, no time to regress. From the boardroom table to the block finesse. Risha breaking chains, sparking thought, no less.
Want more of what you're watching? Watch us on Roku, Amazon Fire, or listen on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio, to name a few.
Be better, be bold, break through the stress. No excuses, no limits, just progress. Talking culture, humanity.